right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Such a beautiful day to gather for this historical event here at Bethany Village. My name is Brian Grandusky. If you don't know me, I'm the executive director here, and it is my honor and privilege to be here today to welcome all of you to the grand opening of John and Annie's Bistro and Clyde's Pub. It has been such, yep, absolutely. It's been quite a journey ever since we started our capital campaign with the beautiful Rife Center to my left over here. And then phase two, which is this beautiful John and Annie's Bistro and Clyde's Pub. And you know what? Who would expect we would have done it during the pandemic? A lot of grenades and a lot of landmines that we had to get by, but we were able to do it. And it was due to a lot of wonderful partnership, a lot of great efforts among so many people. And I just wanted to thank all of you for being here today. And I also wanted to recognize several people here today. But before I do that, you know, one of my favorite, I'm a movie buff. If you don't know me well, I'm a baseball guy. And one of my favorite movies is A Field of Dreams. If you've seen that great movie, a key line in that movie is, if you build it, they will come. Well, we built it, and you're all here. So it's about time we're able to do this. I know we've been anticipating this day for several months. And it's upon us, and again, it's great to be here to welcome all of you to this great event. Before I get to the agenda here and the program, I want to recognize a number of people here today that were able to come up and spend some time with us, and also were very integral in their support and focus during this great project. With that being said, I'd like to just recognize several of our corporate members here today. Doug Leidig, our CEO, has joined us, as well as Andrew Jenrett, our CFO. Todd Andrews, our president of our CCR division, is here with us today as well. I don't think Mike Reynolds is not here, but I believe he's streaming. Mike Reynolds is our vice president of project development and was very integral in this process. He did a wonderful job. Also, JD Schumann. I don't think anyone knows JD, but if you don't, this guy down here, he's our president of our foundation, so thank you, JD. Also, Ryan Daly from Wagman Construction. Hopefully he's here today to join us. And I also wanted to, Sandy Lawson, our Chief Growth Officer, and also Andy Joseph back here, our General Counsel, have been able to come up and enjoy this day with us today. I also wanted to recognize Miss Marianne Moorfield, wonderful resident of ours who also sits on the Asbury Foundation board. So if you would do me the favor and offer your round of applause for those individuals, appreciate that as well. Thank you. A couple other groups that I wanted to recognize real quick here. Our foundation team has been wonderful. Jacob Kanagi, Susan Marinick, Claudia Sayers, and also Heather Weiss. They work so well together to work with our residents to make this a reality here today. They've been fantastic. I also can't forget my team here, our operational leaders, Mark Uez, Bobby Garland, Dustin Goss, Matt Smith, as well as Stephanie Lightfoot, also very helpful in the process, as well as our Sodexo partners, Tashana Tedder, and also Matt Reddington. I don't think Matt's here today, but also wanted to recognize him. And last but not least, I want to recognize all of our residents, all of our associates, all of our families, and all of our community members that really were very influential in this process with their generosity, with their resources, with their patience. You know, I can't say enough about our residents on the East here. You know, going through a pandemic is one thing, having this big construction project interfere with their daily lives here on the court side of the campus. They were amazing. I did not have one negative comment at all throughout the process. A lot of questions, but they were very positive and very excited that this is happening. So thank you to all, for everyone that's in this room and everyone that's streaming today. Thank you for being here with us for this great event. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our CEO, Doug Leidig, to come up and say some words for us today. Thank you. Doug.
So I was told I was allowed to take off my mask, so I will do that. For those of you who may not know, I do have a mom who lives on this campus, and one of the first questions I'm always asked by whether it's a resident I run into or an associate is like, did you see your mom? So yes, for the record, I saw mom this morning, and I actually did one up. I took our CFO and our general counsel over, so we all got to meet her. So when you're asked, I did get a chance to say hi to her. I thank you, Brian, for your kind words and for your leadership at Bethany. You and your team have done a phenomenal job. And it's just what a great opportunity for us to be here in person and to recognize and have a chance to do a little bit of fellowship together. A special thank you to every single donor who was part of this to help make this happen, because it does take a village. And the efforts of everyone. Your support has now cemented for our Bethany Village family a place to gather, to fellowship, and to socialize. And that's what we're all about. That's what we thrive on. That's what we value. And of course, this past year has demonstrated that the need for this. And I'm so excited that this opportunity is here now. Thank you again to everyone whose philanthropic investment helped make this happen. Philanthropy is critical to Asbury's future. And it's important and it's critical to make it not only who we are today, but who we are to become. Because we have to continuously make ourselves attractive to the next generation. And that's so important. And we could not do that with everyone in this room. Your help to make the exceptional happen through philanthropy has been phenomenal. And with other investments in innovations such as React Neuro, the investment in benevolent care, associate scholarships, so very important and so welcomed. I can't tell you the amount of times that when I go out and visit communities, the scholarship recipients and the thank yous that I get from those and the recognition of the fundraising that was gone before that. So thank you so very much. And we're very fortunate to have business partners like Wagman, Sodexo, and THW, whose mission and strategies align with ours. And that's a very important part of what we do. We create strategic business partners, not just vendors, who truly believe in where we want to go and what we want to do. And that's what makes these spaces so exceptional and so extra special. So I'm personally grateful to have the opportunity to be here, to say thank you, and to have a chance to be here with you and in a beautiful day, in a beautiful environment. So with that, I'd like to introduce Todd Andrews, our president of our CCRC division.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Brian, Doug, for your leadership and your kind words in driving this process here at Bethany Village. This is a fabulous, fabulous area. And I want to share with each one of you, a little bit about my role. In my role, I partner with operations on a day-to-day basis, work with Brian and his team about creating experiences like you're sitting in today. But one of the reasons that I came to Asbury in the first place was around the subject of master planning. And this is an example of when a plan comes together and creates a space that is exciting, it's new, it's innovative, and it will also serve the resident of today as well as the resident of tomorrow. I actually served with Sodexo for 26 years, and this is exactly what we had in mind in the partnership of creating spaces like this. And it's so exciting to be here today to see it come to fruition. Over and over as vendor partners, we always supported the passion that our clients had to create spaces like this for residents. Asbury has something special. That was the main reason I joined the organization in the first place. Believe me, I've seen many organizations, and I've determined that Asbury was the place I wanted to be, and I joined the organization 18 months ago. Bethany Village is a perfect example of philanthropy making things happen. The Rife Center in Phase 1, this wonderful space in Phase 2 are examples of when that passion is fulfilled, and indeed, the exceptional happens. Now, I speak for all of us when I say thank you. Thank you for shaping this community, not just for yourselves and each other, but the people who will come here one day in the future. These are beautiful enhancements to Bethany Village and would not be happening if it wasn't for the sweat, tears, and volunteer leaders in the spirit of giving in this wonderful community for the last 50 years. Thank you very much for all you continue to do and the example you set with the power of philanthropy. Now I'd like to introduce two individuals who've been critical to bringing this exciting day to fruition, our campaign co-chairs, Mr. George West and Mr. Dale Meadowcroft.
feel like an old man. I figured if I stayed in my chair in the top that I wouldn't have to raise it when I got here. Unfortunately, it goes about 1/3 of a mile per hour to get here, which is about the speed with which Phase 2 came to fruition. Brian talked about it was a while ago. I think it was about 143 years ago when the Phase 2 committee got together, and we had this wonderful idea. When we first met, the Rife Center was under construction. Our goal was to have the fundraising done by the time the Rife Center was finished so that we could just ask Wagner to keep on going. Ironically, today we are celebrating the opening of this bistro with the overflow crowd in the Rife Center. So don't ever wish for what you want, that the Rife Center and the bistro would open together. Most of you know that I'm usually at a loss of words without anything meaningful to say. So I thought I'd just make it easy and list off all the donors that we had. Fortunately, I'm limited to just a couple of minutes, and George told me if I took more than 2, he wanted the other 12. So it's up to George. But we actually had over 500 donors and raised well over $3 million in the time that we were together. A lot of it does to JD and Susan and Jacob and the Anthony team. I would like to point out one lady who had a contribution that probably won't get mentioned, and that's my bride, who had the idea for the Bucket Brigade. Many of you don't know what that is, but it was an opportunity for everybody to put nickels and dimes and quarters into a little pot and bring it over on a weekly basis, and I think we raised close to $50,000. It was an amazing deal. And as a result of that, we had 80% participation. We really had an wonderful participation. So thank you, Ellie, for your Bucket Brigade. And if any of you need any little blue buckets, of course, along with many others, I'd like to thank Mary Ann for your contributions and the Kresslers for the foundational contributions. There were several other people who I really can't mention because there were many who put up matching gifts that made it all possible, and thanks to them. But then I'd like to also recognize the people that were on our committee, Donna West and Ellie Meadowcroft. They really are the ones behind the scenes that make George and Dale look like they know what they're doing. Phyllis Schweitzer, the Cognatos, who are, gee whiz, unfortunately sitting on the lanai in a 90-degree sun in Florida. So to you, Cognatos. Skip and Nancy Rohrbach, I do not see them, but they're probably in the Rife Center. Nancy Starling, the Gramis, Lou and Sue Gramis, and Tita Eberly. So those of you who are in the Rife Center, take my thanks very much. Abe Lincoln once said that a successful speech would be long enough to cover the subject and short enough to be interesting. I've said what I want to say. I hope it was short enough. Give it to George. George led us. I was just at the side of the table and ate the food. George had a great job. He ordered all the food for our meetings. It was wonderful.
Good afternoon. I was living here for about 1 year, and I got recruited for this co-chair. Fortunately, I had Dale, who had lived here for some time, okay? Anyway, he's been a great partner for me, that's for sure. But after about a year, I said, what did I get myself into? Anyway, JD did the recruiting and recruited myself and my wife. She's not here at the moment, but she'll be here shortly. And we had a lot of fun. And early on, we went down to Garden Spot and saw that operation, and that was very impressive. So that was the good education up front to see what could be done. So we're happy we stayed with it. It's beautiful. I can't wait we can use it next week, I believe. So it's been quite an experience through the bucket campaign, which we did a lot of. But I'll tell you, the bucket campaign, my wife and I worked here on the east side where we are now. And we got to know a lot of people that lived here, just being there pretty much every week, one or the other, with our little buckets. And we made a lot of friends and a lot of new acquaintances. So it was a good experience in that regard. But the other thing I wanted to say is the committee, this committee has been intact since day one. So that's unusual. We have whatever, I didn't count them, but 10, 12 people. Same committee since 6 years ago. And they work together really well. And they're doers, they're not takers. So that was a real benefit, having that group of people that we worked with. And I know I certainly appreciated that. Anyway, it's a new day. Tomorrow the sun will come up. We'll be in business, but not till next week. So I can't wait till we see people here enjoying themselves, laughing, being together. It's been a long year. It's for all of us. So anyway, I just wanted to say that thank you very much for all the donors. They've been thanked before. It's a very, very philanthropic community. It really is. That also shocked me. I had no awareness because I had never had a family member in a place like this. So we were coming in. But the other thing I'll say is that we had made our own decision that probably 15 years ago, this is where we wanted to be, in a community like this. And it was Stephanie who roped us in. So we went to a cottage. So now she doesn't even look at me. Anyway, thank you, Stephanie. We've enjoyed it. We've been here 7 years and hopefully 7 more plus. So we're looking forward to it. We appreciate everybody's help. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, George and Dale. I appreciate you coming up and sharing with us. Greetings to everyone here today and everyone virtually. I'll take this off so you can see my mouth moving. What a year, you're right. I'm still not used to the masks. But I also want to say a special welcome to the committee members who are just across the way in the right, and they'll be joining us very soon. And of course, Tom and Penny, we miss you. We know you're in Florida, but your spirit is here with us today. Again, welcome to everyone. I am Susan Marinick. I serve as Vice President of Development for the Asbury Foundation, and I'm truly honored to be a part of this special day. I came to Asbury just over 3 years ago, and when I came, we had a very busy, hardworking committee that looked at me and said, "Would you help us finish this campaign up?" They were ready to have this bistro come alive. And in those 3 years until this moment today has been long awaited. Congratulations to everyone at Bethany Village and the committee who have worked so very hard, all the way down to tiles and swatches. I mean, it's a lot that goes into dreaming up a space. So congratulations to you all. And it was already mentioned, but over $3.1 million were raised for the space. And to me, I just think that's an amazing amount of philanthropy, amazing amount of all size gifts coming together to make the exceptional happen. Today, I also want to just mention real briefly some leadership gifts that happened in the beginning. It was in the beginning of any campaign, you need a couple roots to really help something take off. So we know we're going to be forging ahead to success. There is an anonymous donor who didn't want me to mention their name. You know who you are, and we appreciate you. Judy and Bill Higgins, you couldn't be with us here today, but you're here in spirit. We have your chairs here. Judy, we wish you, I know she's recovering, and we wish you both were here. They also were instrumental. There was countless matches that happened throughout, and I know I talked about that at our wall-breaking ceremony, but the Higgins helped with that very last match for that very last $100,000 we needed to raise, which, believe it or not, is the hardest to raise at the very end. So thank you, Judy and Bill. Phyllis Schweizer, thank you for your leadership. She also served on the committee. Dr. Jim and Sandy Jones, thank you for your commitment. Clyde and Carol Kressler and Miriam Moorfield, thank you for those beginning roots that we really needed. But as Dale and George mentioned, it doesn't just take a few, it takes many. And there were over 3,018 gifts that were contributed to making this possible. Let me say that again, 3,018 gifts. That's pretty amazing. And Dale shared over 520 donors altogether from residents, associates, Asbury partners, and friends. And I don't want to forget volunteer hours. You can't put a price tag on that. I think there was over 500 gift bags that were filled so that everybody could have a little bit of something today. Because as you know, this is a unique situation. We're celebrating COVID style, right? We really wish everyone could be here. So because we couldn't do that, their gift bags were dropped off today. So thank you for all the associates and committee members that made that possible. So in kind of a wrap up for me, I want to mention, Brian, you mentioned this in your welcome remarks. In 2020, when we had that wall breaking event, none of us could imagine that we would be entering in a pandemic season. We were excited to break those walls down. We had our dates lined up, everything planned, and boom, everything changed. And so I just want to commend the community. Every resident has had to wait a little bit and to be patient, but we're here. Today's a celebration and the doors are open. There was also a lot of pivot, is what I call it, pivoting going on. Thank you, Ryan Daly and all the Wagman construction team. We had to think differently. Okay, we are in a pandemic. Construction even was touched, right? Everybody was touched through this process this past year. Thank you for your good work. I wanted to also thank Sodexo, THW, Brian Reynolds, Brian Grandusky, and the Bethany Village leadership team. Because at that moment, once campaigning is done, construction process starts, and that was on Brian's shoulders. And he did a fabulous job of leading this team through this construction process, nonetheless through a pandemic. So kudos to you. Kudos to everyone that had to pivot to make this happen. Thank you for the campaign committee during that time. We're used to getting together on a monthly basis, and it just wasn't quite the same. We met through Zoom, and we did planning, but I wanted to thank the committee for their patience during the pandemic and planning. And lastly, before we get to more inspirational conversations, I just want to thank a few more people as I come to a close. Jacob Kanegi and the committee, thank you for your good work in planning an event. It's hard to pull off an event, especially through through a virtual situation. And I just appreciate how you've made everything happen, even down to Clyde's Pub Grub. Everybody on campus is going to have a little bit of your favorite snack today, Clyde. So it's pretty exciting. And then lastly, I wanted to thank Jason Brennan and the associates from Asbury Communication and IT team are here. It takes a group of people to pull things together, and I'm glad that they came. And it took a lot of weight off our shoulders because I'm not techie, and neither is Jacob. We would have been a lost mess. So in closing, today's the official opening of John and Annie's Bistro and Clyde's Pub. I can't wait to hear from Marianne, Clyde, and Carol in just a little bit. And I look forward to eating food in here with you in this space. As Brian mentioned, laughing, and Todd, you mentioned this too, celebrating and just being together in fellowship as we look forward to a wonderful year ahead. JD?
Thank you, Susan, and thank you, everyone, for coming out today. It is not lost on any of us. You've heard it mentioned a couple times. We are in the midst of a unique time in our country's history, and we're still in that time, as evident with the masks, the social distancing. Today is really a testament in perseverance. After you heard George and Dale talk about the time it took to raise the funds to bring us to today. Well, after those funds were raised, there was excitement, energy. Everybody was geared up, ready to go. And then the plan started. And as Susan mentioned, Brian and the team started planning. We're going 100 miles an hour. Everybody's geared up, ready to go. And then boom, COVID hits. And so I echo all the comments about gratitude to all of you for your patience, your perseverance, your willingness to really understand what we were going through. So thank you. Thomas Edison shared that opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. Well, there's a lot of hard work that went into today, and we're experiencing this opportunity of John and Annie's Bistro and Clyde's Pub because of so many of you and the hard work that you put into this. I think of Dale and George, thank you. I know you tolerated a lot of time with us, me especially. You really, you took time out of your life. George, you had just moved here. You dove headfirst into this. I can't thank you enough. Your leadership of the committee was unbelievable. And thank you to the committee for sticking with this. I think it's amazing that you all, the same committee started. I didn't even realize that. 6 years. So I can't wait to see you all for phase 3 for the next 6 years. I think that's going to be absolutely beautiful. So I'd be remiss not to recognize the foundation team here at Bethany and their hard work also. Susan, Jacob, Claudia, Heather, and Brian, you and your leadership team. Again, the reality is putting an event like today together in a COVID environment is extremely difficult. So I thank you for your grit. I thank you for your poise. I thank you for pulling this together in an absolutely beautiful way. When I got here this morning, I walked into the foundation office and there was a sea of those bags, just a sea. I was like tiptoeing over bags just to get back to a spot to pull out my laptop. So I recognize all that went into that. All the volunteers that helped deliver those bags, thank you. That is awesome. And what a great example of the Bethany Village family in action, because not all of you work with the foundation. There were people from all parts of this community helping to deliver. So thank you. Hard work did get us here today. And when you combine hard work with philanthropy, you make special things happen. You make the exceptional happen. And philanthropy, as we all know, as evidenced by John and Annie's Bistro, Clyde's Pub at the Rife Center, and so much more that has happened at Bethany Village, philanthropy is a powerful tool. It's a very powerful tool. And when we identify a passion within our hearts, within our soul, philanthropy allows us to execute that passion. And then when we combine it with other like-minded individuals, like-hearted individuals, wow, there are some special things and some wonderful things that happen. So together, this powerful force really creates the exceptional. You've heard that word a couple times today. I love that Todd and Doug talked about philanthropy coming alongside Asbury and being a critical partner with master planning, because it really does make exceptional things happen. Bethany Village is better today because of that. Bethany Village is better today because of you, your hard work, your philanthropy, your joyful giving. You know, you've heard a lot of ribbing today. There is a joyful atmosphere here. And the joy of giving is powerful. It's contagious. And again, Bethany Village is a better place, not just today for us, but for the generations of family members that will come here and experience this community because of your generosity. When everything seems to be going against you, remember, an airplane takes off against the wind. Anybody know whose quote that is? Henry Ford, right? And what amazing advice, and I keep thinking about this Bethany Village family and the win that you all faced, right? Not just the time it took to raise the funds, but then as soon as we're ready to rock and roll, get out here, start, bricks and mortar change, the pandemic hits. So we today are celebrating you rising above that. That's what today is all about, and I can't thank you enough for that. I also want to thank you as president of the foundation for the opportunity that we have to come alongside you. It is not lost on us how much we appreciate that. We are honored to partner with you in executing your passions. That is something that we take seriously and are incredibly grateful for. It's truly an honor, again, and we don't take that lightly. So on behalf of the entire Asbury family, I want to thank you again for your time, your treasure, your joyful giving. It truly is a joy working with you. You make the exceptional happen every day. And we would not be who we are today. And as Doug referenced, we won't be who we're going to be in the future without you having done what you've done. So thank you. At this time, I want to invite some champions who represent really the best of Bethany Village. These people are absolutely amazing. They are a beautiful example of leadership and stepping out, building energy, building momentum. Their support over the years has been an absolute blessing to Bethany Village, and I'm honored to consider them friends. So at this time, I'd like to invite Marianne Moorfield and Clyde and Carol Kressler.
It is exciting that we can all be together today. I don't know that it was quite 124 years that we ago that we were all together. Actually, the last time I remember being all together was at a cottagers dinner on March 10th, a West cottagers dinner. And the next day, everything closed down. So some of us were there, and we remember that very special time. But we have been through a lot. It's been difficult. It's kind of, we've had just been through Passover and Good Friday and Easter. And all of a sudden, right after Easter, it was really spring. We look around outside and the forsythia is blooming and the daffodils are blooming and the wild cherry, and it's beautiful. So it's a wonderful time. And we're going to be moving into this new time when we can all be together again to eat and enjoy each other. I can't help thinking, as a pastor, that it's really communion every time we sit around the table and eat dinner together. So, looking forward to having dinner with all of you. Jim and Sandy and I are going to make reservations for the very first day that we can come, and we're going to eat together and share life. So thank you for all being here. Thank you for everything each one of you did to make this possible. You may wonder why this place is called John and Annie's. Well, John was my husband, and John is my son, and Annie is my granddaughter. So it's named John and Annie's. So thank you for being here, and look forward to eating with you. Wow, what a joy to look out and see people that are beyond our driveway. What a wonderful celebration today for all of us here. I'd like to read out of a little book called Beacon of Light. I have often thought that the people who built lighthouses and those who kept them were optimists. A lighthouse is a beacon to all on the sea, a sure sign that land is near and that someone aloft is keeping a steadfast eye for their safe passage. When we walk to the edge of all the light we have and take the step into the darkness of the unknown, we must believe that one of two things must happen. There will be something solid for us to stand on, or we will be taught to fly. I was looking at the Asbury Focus article from 2013 when we were starting to talk about the Building Our Community Capital campaign and all our 3 phases that we had ahead of us. And I was blessed to work with many of you here today and in the Rife Center and in your homes. And now today we're here. We have a beautiful new community room and this beautiful bistro and pub that we can look forward to getting together with. Clyde and I were asked back in 2013 what message we wanted to give to Bethany Village community regarding the campaign. We said, quote, "Give out of pure joy to make your community better. The amount doesn't matter. Nothing is insignificant." So now we can look forward to phase 3, which was really my favorite phase that we wanted for phase 1. I feel like everyone in the Bethany and Asbury community has taken the COVID and gone through it with dignity. And I'd like to close with a poem by Wilfred Peterson. It's called "Slow Me Down, Lord." Slow me down, Lord, ease the pounding of my heart by the quieting of my mind. Steady my harried pace with a vision of the eternal reach of time. Give me, amidst the confusions of my day, the calmness of the everlasting hills. Break the tensions of my nerves with the soothing music of the sighing streams that live in my memory. Help me to know the magical restoring power of sleep. Teach me the art of taking minute vacations, of slowing down to look at a flower, to chat with an old friend or to make a new one, to pat a stray dog, to watch a spider build a web, to smile as a child, or to read a few lines from a good book. Remind me each day that the race is not always to the swift, that there is more to life than increasing its speed. Let me look upward into the branches of the towering oak and know that it grew slowly and well. Slow me down, Lord, and inspire me to send my roots deep into the soil of life's enduring values, that I may grow towards the stars of my great destiny. And Clyde is very happy to have the pub named after him, but more importantly, I'm actually just popped into my mind. I feel like I need to mention Doug's father because he mentioned his mother. And Wes was one of Clyde's very good friends from when we came here almost 13 years ago. And I just feel like the first drink should be a drink to Wes because he would be most proud of and would have loved to have had a drink with Clyde and many of you at this bistro. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne, Carol, and Clyde for sharing. And I love that idea about the first drink being to Wes and Clyde. That would be great. So I have some housekeeping, just a quick little what we're going to do next. So that way, as we close this wonderful event. Due to allowing some other folks to join us in the room, this is what's happening next. We're going to have the ceremonial ribbon cutting after the prayer. There's 2 ribbon cutting ceremonies that are going to be happening, and J.D. Schumann will be closing out our virtual comments over under the sign of John and Annie's Bistro sign, okay? So in the folks that are in the room, you have a list, and you'll know which area that you are to go. At first, it's just a small group of folks, so we can have the official ribbon cutting part and cut it with the scissors. And then we'll have additional photos as we go throughout the day. Today, the bar is open. So for the rest of the community, the bar is open. As you know, we got to do this in shifts and time, and your time is coming. But for those of you who are in the room, the bar is open. We have snacks in the back. We also have a wonderful committee that's just two or three steps away in the Rife Center that will be joining us. So as you feel ready to head out, that's okay. New folks can come in. So at this time, we're going to have a prayer. And after the prayer, if you're in that lineup for the ribbon cutting, could you go to those 2 spots? We'll do an official close, and then we can relax and have our first snacks and drinks. Thank you.
Please bow your heads. Visit, O God, John and Annie's Bistro and Clyde's Pub with the gladness of your presence. Bless this facility and all who work and dine here with the gift of patience and love. And grant that they may manifest these gifts to each other and to all whose lives they touch. May the nourishment they receive here comfort, strengthen, and preserve them in your peace, O God, now and forevermore. Amen. Those who are involved in the ribbon cuttings may now move to your locations.
Thank you. Just give me a heads up when everybody's ready. No. You want someone this? Yeah, Doug, you're actually other side. Yeah, I think, and Dale, you're over here. No, you're over here. Yeah.
I know. I'm telling you. I'm sorry.
This way. Yeah. And Mary Ann, we'll actually bring you over here.
Okay. Very good.
And John, if you and Mary Ann can come on this side.
This is Arizona.
Oh, easy.
Remember that trip? I don't let JD forget it one time.
Yeah, he doesn't let me forget that. All right, we'll reconnect this here in a second.
John, you're going to help your mom.
Yeah, actually, if the two of you can be in the middle, and yep, that'll be perfect. You good? Are we good? All right. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. On behalf of the entire Bethany Village and Asbury family, it is indeed our honor to present to you the newest enhancement to the Bethany Village community, John and Annie's Bistro and Clyde's Pub.
Scissors? I'll take the scissors.
Susan.
What do you want James to take you?
All right. Thank you again, everyone who had a part in creating today. Thank you so much for joining us. On behalf of all of Asbury, thanks for all you do. Thanks for your time, your treasure, and for making Bethany Village a better place. Thank you.